Good morning and welcome to You're 18, Now What? Thank you for joining me on this great Tuesday. I'm Dr. Catherine Gilstein and I am looking forward to empowering you with information about financial literacy and economic empowerment. I will be posting new episodes every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Today I have a special guest with me and I would like to introduce you to Sherron Permashwar. And she is a motivational speaker, a podcaster, a YouTuber, a workshop leader with over 28 years of experience. So her bio is just incredible. So I'm just going to turn it over to Sherron and introduce her and have her talk about herself a little bit. And today we're going to get into topics such as student loan debt and marketable degrees. So stay with us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Gilstein, for, can I call you Dr. Catherine?
That's fine. Either is fine.
Um, for having me today. I think our first conversations with each other showed how passionate we both are about young adults and being financially educated and how that can make the real difference between their life being, you know, different ways that their life can go in terms of financial literacy and financial education, making a difference in their life in general. A little bit about me: I've been a CPA for a long time, an accountant for all of my adult life, and I chose that degree. Since we are talking to students, hopefully, and they're at that point in their life. I am really good math student, and I tried in high school a few different things. I also like science, but the schooling was too long to become a doctor. So I decided to double major in computer science and accounting, and then I found that the computer science and decoding the program was too boring. I was too lonely, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm gonna full-fledged minor in computers and major in accounting to get my CPA. And it was the best decision I ever made.
That's so
Uh,
interesting because both of us, for those of you that are listening, both of us are from New York City, the actual city, not like upstate. So we both went to city universities. I went to Brooklyn College and you went to Lehman, correct?
yes, yes.
Uh-huh. So city universities. I started out as an accounting major and even though I loved math, I just couldn't stick with it. So I wound up switching to um, finance and management. So I stayed with the math component, but switched to finance and management. And now in my free time, I help people do taxes. So, I mean, go figure. Should have just stayed with
See?
the accountant, right? That is, it's just so interesting.
Actually, it's a combo. I mean, I think accountants are known a lot for their tax component, but one of the things that I think is wrong, or not exactly wrong, one of the things that we don't develop within our education system is explaining how many different ways you can go with an accounting degree or whatever respective degrees it is. Like in our day, I think there was just accounting, finance. Today,
Correct.
there's auditing, there's tax accounting. I just got my designation as a PFS, which is a personal financial planner, and it's like a CFP, but you have to be a CPA to get it. So one of the reasons I did that, and that just kind of came out in the last decade within the CPA
Hmm.
world. One of the reasons I did that is because I can't just be the person that do your taxes. I look at someone very holistically. So looking at I can't just like do taxes. I have questions while I'm working on it. So the PFS is kind of, that's what it is. It's being able to be like the quarterback for the client. And, I don't manage money. PFS can manage money, but I don't want to manage money. I think that's a full-time job for someone, and you should get somebody that's their full-time job.
I
But
agree. I'm the same way. I don't want to manage money. I've worked in corporations where I did that for a period of time. Um, I rather be that financial consultant that you look to and how can I help set you up and get you on the path to where you want to be. But then you do need to have someone managing your money. You do need to have some person doing your taxes. You do need to have a team of people. And I think those are the marketable degrees that
Yes,
you and I were talking about
yes,
earlier.
yes.
Um, so get into let's start with marketable degrees before we get
Right.
into student loans. Let's start with marketable degrees. What's out there? What do you see as their trend? And you've already touched on a few things that now it's a little bit more. So before it was just, like a general business degree.
Right.
So rather than getting a general business degree, maybe add a minor in marketing, add a minor in sports management, add a minor in finance, add a minor in supply chain. So that gives you a little bit more
Right.
of an option once you're finished with school. So, what are your thoughts for the marketable degrees right now?
So my thoughts on marketable degrees is, so first understand what you like, right? So I mean, I'm not by chance and telling the kids go do something that's marketable that you hate, right? So understand what it is that you're good at, number one. Number two, and understand what you like. And then do your research within that field. So for example, in accounting, we have a pipeline issue. So and I personally can tell you, as an accountant, if you are going to be in the finance accounting field, I don't see how you can go wrong there in terms of marketable degrees, because being since before I had a degree, there was always a job for me. So it doesn't matter who was the president. It didn't matter what the economy looked like. None of those things. Yes, the price of eggs, my price of eggs might have went, but it didn't affect my job marketability at all in
I
many ways, even very
so
little.
I so agree with you, and it's interesting because, like I said, I did my degree in my undergraduate degree in business management and finance. And while I was in college, I got a job as a bank teller. And
Right.
I tell all of my students, if you want to go into finance, become a bank teller.
Yeah.
You will learn, like, you might think it's just sitting there and just doing deposits and stuff for people, but you are the face, that first contact in the bank, and you get to hear all of those conversations. And you get to learn every part of the banking industry. And then you can figure out, well, where do you want to go? Do you want to go into loans? Do you want to go into lending? Do you want to go into annuities? Do you want to go into investments? So it does give you that really broad range of knowledge in the finance world, just being a bank teller. And to your point, doesn't matter who's in office, doesn't matter where the economy is, the banking system will be running. You will be employed. And I think that's really important. Like during the entire pandemic, there were still bankers going to work every single day.
Right. Right. That's another thing we have in common. I also was a bank
Mhm.
teller during college.
The best job, the absolute best job. When my friends were sleeping on Saturday mornings, I was at the bank. I worked 8 to 12. I'm like, I'm going to make money.
Yeah.
I don't have time to sleep.
But yeah, that's another thing we have in common. So yeah,
Hmm.
so I think that so that's it's important to learn more, to go to your college career office and be like, okay, I like math, or I like this. And I think also with the schools, even with your groups, like, some of the fraternities and the sororities, it's important to, I know for a fact, because I know lots of students that are part of fraternities and sororities, they're not just drinking or
Hmm.
partying. They do have a
Oh,
budget,
absolutely.
and they do have stuff that they can work with, and
There's a lot of
one.
community involvement where
Yes,
that's involved. Yes, do they have parties? Absolutely. But whether you're in a fraternity or sorority or you're not, you're still going to go to a party. It's college. We get that.
yes,
But there are so many other facets to it, and getting yourself involved in those different groups, I think, is really important. And I think that's what a lot of students don't realize, is to really utilize the resources that are available to you on campus. Go to the career center. Most colleges have a career closet. So if you have an interview and you don't have a dress shirt, they have one for you. So I think encouraging students going into college, especially when you're going away to school, and you're living there. You can't take absolutely everything with you, but use the
Right.
resources that are there. Join a group, join something, do community involvement. It's a great way to get an internship, so that's something you can speak to.
Yes, definitely. So, I mean, and trying different things really is important. And if you are still in high school, I always recommend the magnet programs. So at least you're trying something in high school where you're getting to understand what it is about. Like my younger son tried like four different magnet programs. He started off in IT, and then he thought he wanted to be a doctor because he binge watched Grey's Anatomy, and then during COVID, then he decided, okay, that wasn't for him. Now he's trying engineering, and he's probably going to end up going into finance. But um, at least you know what you don't like, right? So
Absolutely.
it's kind of like just trying different things and figuring it out before you wait until a certain part of college, and then and sometimes that happens and it's still okay. I'm just saying, so but you keep trying to see what works for you. So I definitely think that with the marketable degrees, you understand what the degrees you can get with what the jobs you can get with the specific degree, and then there's so much specialization. But one thing I want to tell the students, if they intend to open their own business, and it does not matter which major you do, because this has
Hmm.
been my experience with my clients over the last 2-3 decades, is they're great at what they do, but lack of a better word, they suck at managing a business. So that's where they lose out. So do some management and
Absolutely.
business management finance courses that related to business management.
Absolutely. I think it's so important. I see a lot of people that get degrees in human services or clinical psychology, and then they know that aspect, but when they want to go out on their own and open their own practice, then they get into the weeds of it, and they're like, wait a second, I don't even understand what a business plan is. Like,
Right.
how do I even do this? So it's interesting because I think it was about a month ago or so, CBS Evening News did a report on financial literacy across the United States in colleges, in high schools, excuse me, in high schools. And there were only 12 states in the entire United States that stress financial literacy at the high school level, which I find just absolutely mind blowing. I mean, I have friends now who have been married for 10 years, married for 20 years, divorced or whatever. And in these last 20 years, they have no idea what the electric bill costs because they never paid it.
Yeah.
Oh, he took care
Yes.
of that. Oh, he took care of that. You can't have the he took care of that or she took care of that mentality. So
No.
whoever it is in the relationship who's going to manage the money, the other person still needs to know about it.
Right.
Um, Talking about marketable degrees, you mentioned thinking about different magnet programs, trying to get into, figuring out what you want. And I stress this in my book when I talk about college, whether you're getting a 2-year degree, 4-year degree, trade school, any of those are good options. There's not a one size fits all. College is not for everybody. So if you want to be an electrician, absolutely go to trade school, become an electrician. We need those electricians, but figure out what it is, what you want to do, what's going to be marketable, what's going to be employable for you. And I think that's where the topic of that student loan debt comes in. So if you're not sure where you want to go to school, if you're not sure what you want to study, go to a community college, get an
Right.
associate's degree, take those general education credits, save yourself some money.
Right.
So, Sharon, talk about student loan debt and what has been your experience dealing with your clients and steering them in the
So
direction.
so marketable degrees and student loan debt kind of go hand in hand. So when I
Hmm.
say marketable degrees, I mean marketable careers, right? So I just want to go back for 1 second.
Sure.
In the my realm of clients, I have had clients in different educational levels. So I mean, I have an excavator as a client that does barely has a high school diploma, but he's smart and he knows how to manage his business, and he does very, very well. So it's not, I mean, and we live in Florida, we're digging pools all day, right? So excavating is a
Hmm.
big business down here. So that's part of
Okay.
the marketable career. Um, but I also have doctors and attorneys that are clients of mine. And although they're probably making the top line revenue, their bottom line is nothing, because in between is where the issue is. They don't know how to manage it, you know? So that's so going back to what you're saying about what career you want, I want to stress that a career is more important than a degree, in my opinion, right? I mean, I know
Absolutely.
we stress degrees, and I talk to a lot of hiring managers now, and yes, education is one of the things that are really what is really important, but it's like a rubric. It might be just 1/4 or 40% of what they're looking for.
Correct.
They're looking for, one of the hiring managers from Amazon told me that yes, education is important that he's looking for, but he's looking for another one is a team player, someone who can work well by themselves or can work well within a team, because brainstorming is important. And the other thing is the person's attitude, their go-getter attitude. Is, do they are they thinking outside of the box, or where they want to go. So it's not just your degree that's going to get you a job. So you have to be a well-rounded person and be able to, and one of the things he told me, he said, honestly, the degree you can train. You can train someone to do a job. You can't train the attitudes or the mindset. So that's one of the things that was important to him. So that's what I wanted to say about that. But going into student loan debt, I think we focus too much. You and I went to city universities. So, and if we go back, I don't know what your friend circle looks like when you actually graduated high school, but my high school was looking to sending the kids off to Ivy League schools. And a lot of my friends have done that. Like when I went to City University, because one of the reasons my parents didn't want me to leave home. And I didn't want to go to Baruch because I didn't want to take the train. So,
Oh
so
my gosh, that's so funny. I didn't want to go to Baruch either. I only applied to Brooklyn and Baruch. And I said, I'm not going to Baruch because I'm not taking the train into Manhattan for school. I'll take the
yeah,
train into Manhattan when I'm working, but not for school. So I
yeah.
wound up going to Brooklyn College because, no offense to these dorms, but it looks like a 5 by 8 cell to me. And I am not about it. I want to sleep in my own bed. So that's why I went to Brooklyn College. It was close. I drove. It was great.
It was also reasonable, like,
Absolutely.
so
So affordable.
so affordable, like, so. And I have two of my best friends. One of them went to Dortmund, and the other one went to Williams when I went to Lehman College. But one of them did a degree in sociology, and then she came back with a lot of debt, but she ended up working in that field, and she still owes debt to this day. We're both almost 50 years old. Actually,
Oh
she
my
turned
gosh.
50 already. So,
Damn,
but
you're younger than me.
age is just a number, girl. I'm
That's
embracing
okay.
50, okay? Um,
I've been perfecting 28 for,
for the longest.
I don't know, almost 30 years now. So
I call it the 25th anniversary of my 25th birthday.
that's perfect.
Um,
That's perfect.
and my other friend that went to Dortmund, right? She came back with a degree in psychology, but she owed over $100,000 in debt, and that's a little bit because
Ouch.
she had other different things. And when she came back with a degree in psychology, there's the first degree. You really can't do a lot. You have to continue your education.
You need a master's degree if you're going into psychology and type of those fields, social work. Yeah.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
my other friend continued at Fordham and did her master's in social work, but additional loans. So,
Mm-hmm.
but my friend with the psychology degree, she needed to get jobs. She needed to work. She did not have that support to have like my other friend did. And she ended up going to Bronx Community College, doing an RN in nursing. And that
Nice.
is what she is today. That is what she is
And
today.
could have went there from the start.
Right. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying that an Ivy League is not right for you. I'm just saying You got to really know what you want.
Right. There are
You
options, and think
yes,
about the options.
and part of what you want should be what it's going to cost you, time and money. So
Absolutely.
investment is an education, and we think that way because we are finance people, that you want to know what your return is on your
Hmm.
investment, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're going to invest this amount of time and this amount of money, when you finished at some point, what is it going to be your return? So that's where the marketable degree comes in. So what degree you do that you're investing in, you actually have to have a plan of how much, you're going to be, or how long it will take you to reap your investments and, get your returns. So, and
Hmm.
when you have debt, when you have student loan debt, then it takes longer. So in today's world, I don't know, the kids are coming out with $300,000-400,000 in student loan debt. And if you did a first
Right.
degree in psychology and you
Hmm.
you have $400,000 in debt, then you got to consider maybe you do your bachelor's somewhere a little cheaper, because the cost of the college is sometimes, to me, more important than actually where you're going. So,
True. I do. I also work with some clients that have finished their bachelor's degree, and I try to trust this to students at the undergraduate level that you don't need a master's degree for everything that you do. If you're going
no,
to
you
go
don't.
into social work, you need a master's degree. If you're going to go into psychology, you need a master's degree. If you're going to be a project manager, you don't need a master's degree. You need to get a project management certificate from the Project
Yes,
Management Institute, which
right.
is a certificate program, not a grad program, so it's a little bit cheaper. I also try to encourage students to get their bachelor's degree, get out, get a job, see what you like about it, and then if you want to stay there, then apply for
Then
a master's
continue.
program and try to use the company's tuition reimbursement and have the company
Exactly.
pay for your master's degree. And
Exactly.
that's another way to save on that student loan debt, especially if you have student loan debt from your bachelor's degree. You don't want to accrue more debt without knowing, to your
Right.
point, what's that return on my investment? How long is it
Yes.
going to take me to make back that another 100 grand?
And
So,
why I say that, right, is because what I'm seeing with my friends, even, decades ago, is that that's how it takes them much longer to buy a house, to
exactly.
invest in other things that, so you don't get to live the life that education supposedly gave to you, because you have to pay a mortgage before you got a house, which is, I consider, the student loan debt, So,
Hmm.
understanding that what that's going to cost you in the future is really important. And on top of that, one of the problems with student loan debt today is, I've been reading an article the other day, and it was saying like 70% of the student loan debt that was gonna get forgiven if the forgiveness thing had gone through was for kids that didn't even graduate. They didn't finish school. So if
Hmm.
if you're not really sure what you want to do, you shouldn't be investing in something that you don't know. You're throwing your money in the sky, and wherever it drops, you're hoping that it drops somewhere. Have a
Right.
plan,
I think that's where community college is really important. And people have misconceptions about community colleges that they're not as good as four-year schools or four-year universities, and that's not true. I mean, you need the same credentials to teach at a community college that you do at a four-year school, four-year college, four-year university, or private college, public college, like Ivy League school. Like either way, you are hiring people with terminal degrees. You're
right?
hiring people who are experts in their field who are teaching these courses. So I always say don't overlook the community college experience. And sometimes that's all you need. You can go in and say, hey, I just want to do community college for 2 years. I want to get a business degree because I want to open my own company, because I
Right.
know what I want to do. I know what company I want to open, but I want to know the background. Like I want to know about the business plan. I want to know about the budgets. I want to know about how to do the marketing, how to do the sales piece. And You can get an associate's degree in business and then open up your own company and
Right.
have minimal student loan debt, if any at all.
If any at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it might
Well,
be affordable enough to pay for out of pocket.
nursing, an RN is an associate degree. Not a lot of
Hmm.
people know that. Like you can be a nurse, or you could be an LPN, which is not even an, um an associate's degree. That's a
Hmm.
year program or however many months program. There's a lot of
Hmm.
tech degrees that you can do that are, that you can use in that situation. So there are many different, aspects of that we could
Right.
do depending on
I,
what it is that you want to do.
I think it's even possible to get associate's degree in business and then just do cybersecurity certificates because,
Yes, which
and
is
then that's a
huge in today.
really good thing. And, you don't need a bachelor's degree to do that. You don't need a master's degree. There are just different types of cybersecurity certificates that you could get. And as long as you keep up with them, you are good to go and definitely marketable. So that's really important. What I'd like to talk about is let's go into the importance of having a personal financial planner, having a financial coach, having a financial consultant, having a CPA early on in your career. So when you're first starting out, because I think the misconception is, well, I just finished school. I'm only 25 years old. I'm only at my job 2 years. I really don't need someone to help me with this. But what are your thoughts on the importance of having that financial team behind you from day one?
So, and my thoughts on this is it's super important because educating yourself at an early age is super important to where you want to go. Like my focus is Gen Zs and millennials, so from 15 to 35 is when most of the decisions, the financial decisions in your life is made to set up the rest of your life. What happens within those 20 years and the things that you learn within those 20 years
Absolutely.
is
Hmm.
is because when you think about it, when you're starting off with at 15, 16 years old, you're starting to develop your money habits, learning about bank accounts, credit cards, all these different things. So having a financial coach or a financial advisor is really important starting in those days, because also I feel like with social media and all the noise out there, there are so many people trying to teach you something in 3 hacks. Let me teach you how
Absolutely.
to get rich in 3 hacks, or let me do this.
It does
And
not work that way.
it does not work that way.
It does
Like these,
not work that way.
but these kids are falling into these traps
I know.
where they
It's
think it's
terrible.
it's an instant thing. It's not gonna happen instantly. It's your money journey is a journey, so it doesn't stop. So I equate it this way: is that all of us have certain journeys that we have to go on in life. If we're living, these are the journeys. We have a health journey, right? That we go on. You have to do checkups, you have to eat right, you have to do, so what you do affects your health journey. You can
Absolutely.
eat bad, your emotional journey, your financial journey, and your financial wellness
It's
is the same
it's
thing.
the same thing. I agree. And I think another point to make is that it changes over time. So what
Yes.
you need at 20 is not what you need at 25. It's not what you need at 35. So as you grow in your life, in your career, you should also be growing in your financial needs and financial changes. And I think understanding that it's not going to be linear. It's not a straight path for
No,
anyone.
no,
So
no, it's not a
maybe
straight path.
1%. I don't know. That's a
I don't even
possibility.
think it's
I don't
with
think so. But exactly, but definitely not a linear path. And I think to understand what you need for yourself, and if you can find guidance, get the guidance that you need. Um and agreed,
and
try to cut out the noise that's out there
cut out the
because with
noise,
the
cut out
age
the
of
noise.
social media, there's just too much information and a lot of it is incorrect.
Absolutely. I couldn't have
Hmm.
said it better. Find, even if you are, yes, there's a lot. Like I have a podcast and I have YouTube and I have all these things. But
Same.
if you
Yep.
look at my background, I'm qualified to do this. I'm
Correct.
qualified, I have the education, I have the experience, I have the stories, I have everything that you can think about to teach you these things. There are these people out there that because they went through bankruptcy, they feel like they can teach you financial education, or, they're telling you how to open an LLC and not pay any taxes. Like, I mean, like, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Okay. Just, because I cannot tell you how many times clients have sent me these things from social media that's like a 30-second, can I do this? Can I do that?
No.
And I'm like,
Uh,
well, part of
I
this is
do not
sometimes,
recommend.
sometimes
I
a
do not
little,
recommend.
sometimes they have a little part that is the truth, but it's just a tiny nugget. It's the
Right.
starting of something. So it's not that easy. Yes, ask the question if you see it, but then vet the person that you're believing or listening to. So that's what I
Absolutely.
would say. Get a financial coach, or the person that you are following or you are listening to, make sure that they are vetted and they're qualified for you to be listening to them, or teach them to be teaching you. So it's important. And here, that's where the education comes in. That's where, by keeping to educate yourself, and understanding about financial education and understanding about the financial world, then you are going to be able to not let people pull wool over your eyes.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this has been an amazing conversation, and I am really hoping that my listeners are going to love it. So, Sharon, just share with us your podcast and where people can find you to listen.
So I am on my own journey myself. So my new podcast just aired, and it last week, and it's called Get Wealthy with Me, and it's
Nice.
on YouTube, and it is actually teaching through storytelling. So it's sort of more of a podcast type thing. So we're having conversations with different people, understanding their journey, their struggles, and incorporating my journey and my struggles. Like I've told you, I grew up in the South Bronx. I'm from an immigrant family, and my journey from poverty to prosperity is something that I have went through. So I feel like that story can teach a lot to everyone, with the backing of the education and being in the financial field. So you can get that. It airs every Tuesday on YouTube and RSS, and it's on all the podcast, Spotify, and all the different podcast streaming
Perfect.
services. And
That's great.
I also have a second YouTube channel that I teach more financial education stuff on, and you can always check all of my handles on my website, which is themodernsavvycpa.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Sharon, so much for being with me. And I hope we get to continue this conversation in the future. But for now, be open to listening, be open to learning, ask questions. What more do you want to know? Visit my website at You're 18 Now What and drop me a line. Send a question or a comment, and any questions received will be responded to by either email or addressed on the next podcast. Remember, be invaluable for what you share, not what you know. See you next time on Your 18 Now What, where you can always find the latest podcast episode to listen to, follow, and share. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you.
Bye.